Hello, and welcome back. Today we have Post-Platinum Review number 2, God of War Ragnarok, Valhalla. Developed by Santa Monica Studio and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla is free DLC, released in 2023, and follows the events of the main game, with a continuation of Kratos' adventure through a new game type. The game begins with Kratos and Mimir together as they row towards an unknown location.
You are certain you remember nothing of this place?
Oh, nothing that would help us. Tell me, brother, why exactly are we doing this?
I do not know.
Oh, that's comforting.
They reach a shore with black sand, and as he steps forward, Kratos is drained of many of his previously achieved strengths and abilities, but fortunately gets to keep all 3 of his weapons. He proceeds forward and reaches a strange-looking door. Unfortunately, the door is locked. But in true Kratos fashion, he doesn't let that stop him, and forces it open.
Reatha Sialfur, Sinum Hautum.
To be one's own master.
Master thyself.
A more poetic way of putting it, but yes.
Upon breaking into Valhalla, Kratos again feels weakened, but proceeds deeper. He immediately encounters enemies, but disposes of them with ease. The nearby chest contains the first choice the player will encounter while in Valhalla. A weapon glyph can be selected that adds a helpful modifier to one of Kratos' weapons. These perks are temporary and only last until the current run ends or Kratos dies. Many different chests are found throughout Valhalla, and each will have an accompanying symbol above them, indicating the type of perk it will grant. These include things such as stat boosts, runic attacks, or health and rage restoration. Chests and enemy encounters will also reward different types of currency. Fleeting echoes are, as the name suggests, temporary, and used to purchase upgrades for the current run only, while mastery seals and spirit seals are used later for permanent upgrades. As Kratos progresses, he will encounter a wide variety of doors and realms.
Perhaps the last remaining pocket of Asgard. Something unreal about it, though. If this part seems peaceful, we should have a look around.
You truly believe Freya would have aided us in this?
Aided us, talked sense into you. Win-win either way, really. I certainly can't see how there's any benefit to avoiding her.
I am not avoiding her.
Brother, you've gone to bloody Valhalla to avoid her. At least be honest with yourself.
He enters an unmarked mystic gateway and encounters a powerful foe, who quickly defeats him. With a gasp of breath, Kratos reawakes on the shore as Freya arrives.
You marched into Valhalla without even talking to us first?
Nice to see you too, milady.
It was a personal matter, and I would not take you from your duties.
You breached Valhalla. Consider it worth my time. This entrance is secret. Who told you of this place?
Nailed to our door 3 days ago.
Kratos reveals that he received an invitation, but where it came from, he doesn't know. Only those who have died can enter Valhalla, and Freya provides some more details for those unfamiliar with Norse mythology.
Would you join me?
Oh, don't let me intrude on your personal matter. Besides, I can't. Unlike the two of you, I've never died.
What happens if I return inside?
Well, that depends on you. Valhalla draws from the memories of those who enter. In there, you're an open book. Sure, you want to go back in?
How did you even get past the gate?
I forced it open.
With his bare hands.
He forced it open.
There's an easier way if you insist on going back in.
Sigrun informs Kratos that there is an easier way to enter Valhalla, and there is tension present between her and Mimir. Freya has a standing offer out to Kratos, but he is unsure of how to answer, although what this is, we don't learn yet. Before entering Valhalla again, the player is introduced to another basic mechanic. Prior to each run, you can select from each of the available shield types and Spartan Rage modes. One of these will randomly be highlighted, and selecting that version will yield additional rewards. Kratos then speaks to Air and Gunnar, two Valkyries who provide him with details on mastery tasks, which will reward cosmetic changes for Kratos and his weapons when completing them. These include things such as completing runs with different rage and shield types, as well as utilizing all runic abilities to encourage adaptability and variation to fully master all of Kratos' abilities. With all of the basics of Valhalla understood, Kratos can give it another go. Things essentially start the same, as Kratos must select a weapon path, which will impact which realms will be experienced in the encounters moving forward.
Mimir, what is at odds between you and Sigrun? Did you anger her?
I wouldn't say she's angry with me. Irritated, perhaps. Disappointed, certainly. But you needn't worry yourself, brother. I won't let it distract from whatever it is we're doing here.
Throughout their journey, Kratos and Mimir talk of many things, including Mimir's relationship with Sigrun and Freya's offer to Kratos.
Brother, I must admit, Freya's idea does make quite a bit of sense to me. What better god of war could the realms ask for than a general who won Ragnarok, and won it trying to save lives? With you on board, our whole peacekeeping council could really do some good.
This position, this title, I have held it before. You know what happened. She knows what happened.
Of course we do. But why should who you used to be matter more than who you are now?
As he moves deeper, Valhalla presents Kratos with memories of the various realms as he remembers them.
I suppose this is about how you remember Jotunheim, eh?
I do agree with you about Freya's council. It is a noble idea. It should succeed on her merits.
How's that, brother?
Freya is known to the realms and native to them, respected by all. An experienced leader.
Experienced enough to know that a shared power is best for the people.
That she would share power proves she is worthy to wield it.
Even so, why make her wield it alone? Without Odin, the realms have a chance to forge a new peace. When conflicts do arise and can't be talked through, a god of war ensures those conflicts have rules and enforces them. They need might and judgment, and credibility across the realms. Who else would she pick, brother?
He fights through waves of enemies, opens chests, and earns currency until encountering something from his past. His throne as the god of war.
What is this?
You recognize your old seat, don't you? Kratos. I have not forgotten the debt I owe you.
The memory proves too much for Kratos to handle, and he reawakens on the shore.
Sometimes you reach as far as you're ready to go. Valhalla's decision, or yours? Does this mean you're done in there?
No. I will discover who invited me. I believe I am close.
You're sure it's worth dying for?
Oh, I think we're fairly accustomed to dying at this point.
Don't be glib, Mimir. Valhalla restores you after honorable death in combat, but beyond that, it makes its own rules. And if you don't play by them... Kratos, the threat of death in there is real.
That is good to know.
He learns that Valhalla will show him more as he is ready, and that to avoid permanent death, he must abide by the rules. He now has access to labors, which are basically bounties or challenges for additional rewards that cycle and repeat randomly. After preparing, Kratos enters Valhalla for another run.
I recognize them. They are judges of the underworld from my homeland.
Ah, well, you sound thrilled to see them again.
Souls they deemed righteous were granted entrance to the Elysium Fields. Those deemed wicked were cast into Tartarus.
Ah, yes, where the souls of the damned were tortured. Ah, Midgard in memoriam. Ah, I'm starting to see there's no fixed order to the realms we'll visit here. Brother, whose voice was that we heard when Valhalla sent us back from the throne?
You heard it also.
Aye. Said he owes you a debt, was it? Someone who might lend us a hand, perhaps?
Unlikely. He was a god of Greece, and we did not part on good terms.
And by that you mean... Yes, I see. No shortage of bitter old ghosts in these parts. These parts being your memory, of course. Brother, that throne we saw, did you recognize it? Was it familiar?
It was mine. The throne I took from Ares. It is a throne of monsters.
Ah, the anxiety of power made manifest. A symbol you're no doubt meant to consider.
It is a symbol I reject.
That might not quite close the book on matters. A symbol can't be slain, destroyed, or ignored. The best measure is often to reclaim it, redefine it. Remind us it's not the throne, but the god who sits in it.
He and Mimir continue to talk about his time as a god, but Kratos would rather leave that part of him behind. Kratos fights off even more enemies, but now must also battle intense and powerful foes called Valhalla's Chosen. Continuing further, Kratos will then encounter even more difficult boss fights, this time against Fisk. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite ready and lost in the blink of an eye. Luckily, the currency rewards earned during the run remain after death and can be spent to help on the next try, but the story progress does not move forward until the run is seen through to completion. Kratos then gives it another go with more of the same. This time though, the doors are now marked, with a symbol to allow the player to choose which type of reward they would like after completing an enemy encounter. This allowed for a customizable approach and build for each individual run, and encouraged trying a wide variety of techniques and abilities. Kratos fights his way through until eventually reaching Fisk again. Better prepared for the fight, Kratos eliminates him in no time, and reaches the vision of his old throne again. However, this time, Mimir is shockingly replaced by an old and undesired acquaintance from his past, Helios.
Congratulations, old friend. You really are going places in Valhalla.
Where's Mimir?
Is that really all you have to say to me? After all this time, can't muster up so much as hello for one of your most auspicious victims?
Hello, Helios. Where is Mimir?
How should I know? Why don't we go look for him?
Although Helios is just a manifestation of Kratos' own mind, he proceeds to talk crap about him and undermine his efforts to truly change.
So, what's new with you, Kratos? Murdered any good pantheons lately? Devastated any populations with the cataclysmic consequences of your actions? Turned on any once trusted allies? You simply must bring me up to speed on your latest saga of blood-soaked vengeance.
I am that no longer.
You don't mean to say you've gone soft? Never believe it. Once a Spartan, always a Spartan.
Traveling deeper, Kratos encounters what appears to be his old home, Greece. Moving further, Kratos revisits an iconic moment from his past and the original God of War game.
Now this room must really take you back. Wasn't this the Chamber of Sacrifice? Where you let an Athenian soldier burn to a crisp just so you could get past the room? Oh, those madcap early days. How you must miss them.
Annoyed at Helios, he puts the head in the cage.
What are you doing, Kratos? You mean to sacrifice me? Again?
But before he can do more, he must battle enemies from his past. In a truly amazing throwback, Kratos fights off soldiers of Ares and unlocks a new Spartan Rage mode utilizing the Blades of Olympus he used in the previous games. He then picks up where he left off with Helios. He sets the trap and is about to walk away, but shockingly, as he looks back, Helios has turned back into Mimir, who is now trapped in the cage.
Brother? What am I doing in here?
Mimir. Mimir.
What's that?
No!
Desperate, Kratos tries to free Mimir, but things appear dire. By not abiding by the rules, Kratos has disrupted the order of things in Valhalla, and their impending death will be permanent.
Do not panic. We will simply return to the gate.
I don't think so! I think you've broken how Valhalla works! Oh! I think this is it, brother!
Let's get you out of here!
Sigrun! Love, you're burning!
I'm not supposed to be here! Hokari Naito!
At the last moment, Sigrun arrives, and despite excruciating burn damage, saves both Kratos and Mimir as they return to the shore.
Mimir!
Oh no! You poor thing, look at you! You shouldn't have done that.
Oh, heal, dummy. You and Kratos would not. But you're safe now.
Her actions are not without severe consequences, though. Although her injuries will heal, she will not be able to return to Valhalla again. A little while later, Kratos ventures into Valhalla once more, as he and Mimir try to make sense of things.
You remember being elsewhere when Helios took your place.
Aye. Yes, I didn't mention that while we were plummeting, but yes. I was in a forest, much like that of my youth. Back on my old body, too. It was a bit dreamlike, to be honest.
Sometimes, Kratos will find special chests that will reward gold tier perks, but require health or rage as a sacrifice. As they continue, Mimir is hesitant to speak of him and Sigrun, but Kratos knows there is more to the story.
Do you yet wish to speak about Sigrun? She was eager to receive you mere days ago. What has changed?
Oh, don't pretend to be interested in my romantic life, brother.
I am interested, and you are evading the question. What happened?
Well, after you dropped me off at a longhouse the other night, Sigrun made a cloudberry and hazelnut pudding. Of course, I don't eat anymore, so slightly awkward, but a lovely thought.
And
Pretty much it, really.
there is more to this.
Upon reaching Greece again, Kratos must defeat a specific number of Valhalla's chosen to advance. Scattered around are different levels of enemy encounters that range in difficulty and earn rewards accordingly. However, Kratos is on a time limit, as taking too long will increase enemy difficulty, while finishing an encounter will delay the timer. After satisfying the conditions, Kratos returns to the fire chamber from earlier. He battles more enemies from his past, including Cyclops, before reaching the trap. This time, he enters it himself and triggers the fire. The flames burst towards Kratos as he screams in pain. However, before he succumbs to the heat, he is transported to a new area. In front of him is Tyr, the host of the invitation to Valhalla.
The invitation was yours.
I would have signed it, but it was important you come here for your own reasons.
Then you're not an illusion.
Here in the flesh, old friend.
What do you want?
I know what you're wrestling with, Spartan. I understand it better than you realize. The shame. The doubt. The question I could find no answer for until I came here. Lifetimes ago. Stepped through that door.
Tyr understands the dilemma going on inside Kratos, and hopes that Valhalla will provide him with the same clarity it did for him many years ago. The answers Kratos seeks lies beyond a nearby door, but he is not ready yet. Until he is, Tyr will battle him. Kratos eventually emerges victorious, as Tyr will yield. Kratos approaches the door, but hesitates, as he is not ready for what is on the other side, and he is transported back to the shore.
I am not ready.
Yet. But we will get you there.
Kratos now has access to sanctuary keys that can unlock extra chests and paths in the various realms inside Valhalla. These permanently unlock the barrier, but the chests are one-time use and usually contain relics or armor. Now, he must keep fighting through Valhalla, culminating in a fight with Tyr each time. Valhalla is basically a game of trials, where each time a run is completed, Kratos will reach deeper into both Valhalla and his mind. He and Mimir discuss personal matters and each of their insecurities to learn to accept their past to look to the future. Along the way, Kratos will experience flashbacks to his time as the god of war.
I know this.
You remember this, Kratos. The memory is vivid. A familiar scene to any that know your legend. A man at the crossroads of a fateful decision.
Aye, you've spoken of this, brother. The pact you made with Ares to stave off the barbarian horde.
The day I sold my soul to a god of war. Why show me this?
Well, if I had to guess, probably to make you feel like the piece of shit you are.
Is he necessary?
He's no part of my design. He's either Valhalla's or yours.
At least he hasn't replaced me again. Not yet, anyway. Seems a real charmer.
Dear, why help prepare me to take your old position? Why not fulfill it yourself? You seem capable.
To the mortals of these realms, I am an ancient myth, long out of mind. The days I could hope to unify these realms are long past. But they see you as the hero of Ragnarök. You are known, respected. And from what I have seen, you're the most qualified by far. You need only be ready.
Looks like someone left you a party favor. Oh, and it's a symbolic totem of your shame. That's so thoughtful. Ah, You're being judged. And we all know your past actions wouldn't pass muster with anybody.
And even discover artifacts from that time, including his oath stone, the boat captain's key, Pandora's statue, or Calliope's flute. He will even encounter battles with previous foes, such as Thor's sons.
But just then a kind of revelation came over me. A sudden cold clarity that it was vanity to imagine that I, as I am, could be enough for her as she is. So I heard myself tell her that I didn't think I could give her what she needed.
Now, I am mad at you.
Pile on, brother. I deserve it. Can you imagine knowing all along you're not enough for someone, and then living out the slow realization of that truth? I admit it chilled me to the bone.
You presume to know how she will feel in the future. Why discredit hers and yours in the present?
I just can't pretend not to know better. She's romanticized the idea of us. Certainly I've done the same. But is that anything to build a future on? I mean, look at me, brother. Be practical.
If anyone else disparaged you as you disparaged yourself, I would wish to strike them with an axe.
With each progression through Valhalla, Kratos will heal and begin to accept his past actions and who he was and is, as both a man and God. Each encounter with Tyr is different, as he will wield a variety of weapons to keep things fresh. Kratos will relive painful memories until he is ready to open the door.
A substitute daughter. A box full of evils. This one feels important.
This is your blacksmith story, isn't it? His girl was the key, and he died protecting her?
Protecting her from me. I opened that box seeking the means to kill Ares. And what I released.
Pretty much turned all the gods crazy. Thanks again for that.
Quiet head.
Unfortunate. The time I spend in my own Valhalla means you get more time with him.
Kratos, how well did you know the blacksmith's daughter?
Pandora. She reminded me of my own daughter, who I lost long ago.
I'm sorry, Kratos. Even at your most vengeful, you must not have wanted harm come to her.
Pandora was innocent. The way she saw things, she could reach me when few could. She deserved better than to be a pawn, sacrificed in a game of gods.
Your regret is palpable. But thank you for letting yourself remember. That is important. An infamous act. One they still spoke of in the years of rebuilding. I somehow doubted they meant it so literally.
I'll give you this, brother. Your technique has improved immeasurably.
I needed his power to secure my vengeance against the gods. I believed I had no choice.
No choice? You could have not ripped my head off my body. That was absolutely an option.
And he's back.
But that wasn't the worst of it, was it, Kratos? Killing me deprived Greece of the sun. They were plunged into perpetual cold and darkness. Crops ceased to grow. famine descended on our homeland. Not that you cared.
Enough.
Kratos, I'm curious. Your decision to behead Helios, was it fueled by any personal motivations? Or was it really just a means to an end?
It was not personal. I did know him long before I killed him. He was as insufferable as any god. But his death brought me no satisfaction.
Did you know what would happen as a result?
When Helios was captured by the god of dreams, the lands fell into darkness and were not restored until his return. I knew exactly what would happen. I know you are a projection of the mind, but for what it is worth, the death I gave you was unjust.
Oh, how touching. Yeah, not actually worth the spittle it took to mumble that out. Do not do that again.
Although many of his actions were ruthless and vile, they were not always done so with malicious intent. He often thought he was left with no other choice, but the consequences of his actions were usually severe, especially for everyone else. But he begins to accept these actions for what they were, and realizes that he would often try to make things right, even if it was after he made things worse.
When the evils of the box were purged, what remained was hope, which you chose to release back to the world.
Yes. After everything, you came back full circle to sacrificing yourself.
My death would have been just, but it was not to be.
Yes, you lived, and hope still lived inside you, from that day to this one. One might say you brought hope back to these realms after a long slumber. Box or no box, Kratos. Hope and fear and love and hate exist in every one of us. The question is, which will you choose to let guide your actions? Each choice we make shapes our world.
Eventually, after much self-reflection and acceptance, Kratos is ready for what lies beyond the door.
What can I say to you? I remember how it felt to take that throne. All that it meant. And all that it did not. A god of war. God of pain. Of suffering. Of destruction. And no one said I chase redemption that I know I can never deserve. What does that make me? God of fools. A god of... hope. When all else is lost. You lost everything. And everyone. You became... There is no forgiving you. You chose! I chose. But now, should I, this same man, should I sit, take, proclaim, lead, place myself in service? In service. inside so that I do not become you. I do not know. But I have hope. You are cruel and arrogant and selfish. But you are more than that. You have always been more than what others saw. You are more than that.
Finally, ready to accept Freya's offer, he takes his rightful seat upon the throne as the god of hope, and the game ends.
Did you find what you needed? Glad to hear it, brother. We're done here then, so, what now?
Now, I believe I would like to sit here for a while.
After the credits, Kratos informs Freya of his decision, and Valhalla can be replayed as many times as desired to uncover more artifacts and rewards. At this point, Kratos will have unlocked the use of the Blades of Olympus during New Game Plus, as well as a badass throwback skin. If you complete enough runs after the game ends, you will be rewarded with an extra scene regarding Sigrun and her future. For obtaining the trophies, most will be earned simply from progressing the story through to the end. However, there are a few that require some extra work. These include things such as completing 9 mastery quests, equipping new armor, and visiting all 9 realms. One trophy, which requires acquiring more than 15,000 fleeting echoes in a single run, seems daunting at first, but with upgraded perks and stats, completing more than the required number of Valhallas chosen, as well as completing bonus areas, makes this a breeze. Speaking of bonus areas, while battling through Greece, 3 unique areas will unlock. These are more challenging than the usual encounters, and for a trophy, the Forum Arena must be fought in. None of the Valhalla trophies were difficult, and most will be achieved from natural story progression. There were no difficulty-related trophies, but the harder difficulty you play on, the more rewards you will receive. Overall, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla was a truly amazing experience that rewarded longtime fans of the series and was a great way to introduce past characters and enemies to those unfamiliar with the earlier games. It was a pure joy to hear some of the old music and battle some old foes. The way the story connected the past to the present was a full circle moment for Kratos, and we got to re-experience just how far his character has come from the original game. For those that have been with Kratos along his journey throughout the years, it was genuinely rewarding to see him finally come to terms with things and move forward for himself and others, now free of his sins and ready for a clean slate. While young Kratos was a violent and destructive force to be reckoned with that was a blast to play as in the earlier games, he was disconnected from his human side and fueled by nothing but rage. Feeding into this detachment, you rooted for him and his vengeance, but with the more in-depth, emotional, and wiser version of Kratos, we now root for his peace of mind, which he finally gets after losing everything, only to get a second chance. This DLC is a must-play for any God of War fan, and it is still hard to believe that it's free, so there's no reason not to play. Valhalla was a new and exciting game type that offered enough variation in gameplay to encourage repetition. The challenge can be controlled by the player, as the harder the difficulty, the greater the rewards. Seeing how many Valhalla's Chosen you could defeat, and how quickly, was another challenge unto itself. Overall, just a wonderful addition to the series, and the best kind of DLC. Fun and free. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for Post-Platinum Review number 3.
Hello, me again!
If I must carry you, make yourself useful. Say what you see in battle.
Aye aye, asshole.